You might come across this in your forthcoming exam. Here's exactly how to crack it. How many moles of hydrogen bromide would exactly be required to react with 2 grams of propyne? I'll give pro tips. So, rather, I would go straight to the point. Let's solve. The first thing to do is to balance the chemical equation. Please do not forget that propyne is C. Propyne is actually C3H4, and if we react it with hydrogen bromide HBr, we would get two C H6 Br2. And now note this equation is not balanced. How do I know? Here you have 3 carbon, and sorry, this is supposed to be 3 carbon. The atom here is 3. So here we have 3 carbon. The carbon atoms are balanced on both sides, on either side. We have 4 hydrogen plus 1 is 5. Here we're having 6 hydrogen. We have 1 bromine here, and over here we have 2 bromine. So I'm just going to wipe this up and balance this equation once and for all. And so the balanced equation of this becomes C3H4 plus 2HBr give you C3H6Br2. This is what you get as your balanced equation. The next thing to do is to bring out the number of moles. Now, note the numbers of moles of the propyne is 1. So we have 1 mole of propyne, which is here. There's an invisible 1 here. And the number of moles of hydrogen bromide is this one here too. So we'll write it like this. We'll say that's step 2. I'll just go ahead and write it down. The second step is 1 mole of C3H4 requires, or let's put it just an arrows, requires 2 mole HBr. So once this is settled, first we balance the chemical equation. Next we write out the mole proportion. Next would write out their we'll solve for the molar mass, the molar mass using the atomic mass that was given here. So note here, atomic mass of carbon is 12, hydrogen is 1, bromine is 80. So we'd get to work, and in doing that we'll screw up a little bit, and it becomes the molar mass of propyne is actually C3H4, and becomes 3 times 12 plus 4 times 1, which is the atomic mass of hydrogen, and we arrive at 40, because 3 times 12 is 36. 36 plus 4 is 40. So we get 40 grams. We get 40 grams. Next is for the molar mass of hydrogen bromide. But this time around we'll multiply it by the number of mole. Note, if we say this 40 grams times 1, which is 1 mole, we'll still arrive at 40 grams. So this one here, let me change the color pattern. This one here is 1 from our number of mole. Going further, the molar mass now of hydrogen bromide. So hydrogen bromide is HBr, right? The H is 1, isn't it? 1 times the number of atom here is 1, here too is 1. So it becomes 1 times, open bracket, atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 in the bracket plus 1. The atom of this number here is called the number of atom. This one down here. It's called the number of atom. So 1 times, open brackets, what's the atomic mass of hydrogen bromide given was 80. So this would give us 81 grams times 2. The 2 is actually our number of mole of hydrogen bromide. The 2 here, the 2 is gotten from these 2. Multiply everything now times 2. So we arrive at 81 times 2, you would get 162. This would be 162 grams of hydrogen bromide. Next, we make use of something called the Sam's relation. I call it the Sam's relation. So using Sam's relation. Using Sam's relation, the Sam's relation is given as G, which stands for what is given, times W, which stands for what we want, over what is known from KFG, what is known from what is given. And this would be, we'll go back to our question now. I'm going to bring back our question, so we'll see. Our question says, how many grams of hydrogen bromide? How many grams of hydrogen bromide? That's what you're asking. That's what they're asking you to solve for, which is what we want. Would exactly be required to react with 2 grams of propyl. 2 grams of propyl is what is given. Remember, the Sam's relation is what is given. You would write there 2. What do we want? We'll write the molar mass of hydrogen bromide, which is 162, over what is known from what is given, which is 40 grams, which is actually the molar mass of propyl. So we'll go back and complete this. And this is what is given is actually 2 grams of propyl times. What do we want? We want hydrogen bromide, but we do not know the mass of hydrogen bromide. So we'll make use of the molar mass times the number of mole, which is actually this one right here, 182 grams times 2. We arrive at 162. So this place will become times 162 over. What do we know from what is given? What do we know from the propyl? We're able to, what we know from the propyl is actually this 40 grams here. The 40 grams is the value we know from what is given. How did we come about the 40 gram? We made use of the molar mass of propyl and we multiply that to the number of mole. So we arrive at 40. So this place will just become 40. And now, hence, it's just a mathematical. It becomes a mathematical problem. So I'm going to punch my calculator. 2 times 162 would get 324. So it becomes 324 over 40 divided by 40, and the final answer will be 8.1, and this time around is 8.1 gram. And this is just how to solve this question. Let's go back and check our question if 8.1 is actually on our on our options. Yes, 8.1 is on our options, and the correct option for this question is option C. Now, would you like to solve similar questions as this? Click on the link in the description box. You win. Just believe.